I'm back. This one's a bit dirty. I don't know where it's been. It's because I don't use it much. But it's an Ibanez thing. It's an RG, but not as we know it. That's one of the reasons I don't use it that much. But I just thought I'd make a video of it, you know, so everybody else can see why I don't use it. Actually, that's not true. It has its place, and I made an album a couple of years ago, and this was featured quite a lot because it was actually the music is all about a serial killer, and it had to be low down and dirty. And this guitar does exactly that, as you can see. Well, what is it? Like I said, an Ibanez RG series, but it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stringer. So let's get that out and have a quick look at that, in case some of you guys have lived under a mushroom for years and never seen one before. I'll fish it out, we'll have a chat about it and tell you what it's good for and what it isn't good for. And like I say, don't use it much. Hold on. Okay, it's out. It's like letting a tree. That's a huge guitar. Honestly, when you play one of these things, you run out of finger space. My fingers are real short, and that's one of the things about these. I always seem to find the 6th string, but never seem to find the 7th one. Let's go have a closer look and let's talk about this one, because really, it's a behemoth of a guitar. Well, here it is. What can I say? It's called something like an RG7620 or something like that. I forget exactly, it doesn't really matter. But if you need a 7 string and you need a reasonably cheap one, this one's not bad. Although it's still got all the real deal stuff in here. You've probably got a basswood body. I'm not going to go and check. You probably have. It's one of these edge trems again. Bit like on many of them, but it's got 7 strings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But more importantly, it's got 7 string pickups, which is what you need for one of these. 1 tone, 1 volume, usual things. That one, them 2, that one, and that one. So, trust me, if you want a low down and dirty sound, this is one of the guitars to do it. I used it on a track called Tumblety. If you go and search Tony McKenzie space Tumblety, Tumblety, you'll hear this guitar in action on the rhythm guitar. It's only on the rhythm guitar, but it is really, really bottom end. Let's have a look at the neck. Honestly, this is a hugely wide neck. You can see my little tiny fingers. Well, yours are probably there if you're a dwarf and there if you're Jimi Hendrix, but mine are bad, let's put it that way. But it looks to me like it's a sort of, it's supposed to be a sort of rosewoody thing. It looks a bit sort of rosewood style. I'll use the word style, and it looks very wide indeed. It's got the usual locker at the top, which you need with these, and although I never seem to use the trem on it, as you would a trem, because this is more of a, to me it's more of a rhythm bottom end style of guitar. Not much to say about it down here, except these markers will be plastic. It's got big fat frets, just like a lot of the Ibanez's. You see they're a little bit dirty on this one, because it don't get played much, you see. For me, I think it's quite a specialised guitar. Usual Ibanez neck. What denotes it different? Well, nothing really. It's got the lockers there. It's got this little bar underneath. It says Ibanez on. Well, big deal. It says RG series. Can't really say much more. It's got black everywhere, so that gives you a clue what it's about. Let's move on to the back. Well, what's important about it? Well, not a lot really, except for this little tiny word here. It just happens to say Japan on the back. If you want to go and buy one of the cheaper things, they don't get much cheaper than this, by the way, because this is cheap. It's just a cheap Japanese guitar, but it isn't that cheap. Not when they new, I think. Anyway, this one says F99 47 something or other, so this was made probably in 1999. You can see how wide the neck is here, and it just goes wider and wider and wider. And we have the same old thing where these can't snap because you've got the 2 holes because of the locking. Let's have a look at the neck at the other end. Oh, it just starts getting scary. Now here, listen, you can trust me, that's what you call a fat neck. as opposed to a fat head. There's lots of them around too. I'm not one of them, am I? Oh, I could be. Who knows? Anyway, look at that. You can see that it's not getting fit, is it? By the time I've put my hand around there, there's nothing left to dangle over the front. It's huge. So, you know, 7-string guitars are an acquired taste, and you need an acquired taste for this one. It has, you can't see them all, you'll see them in a minute. It has the usual 4-bolt thing, and it's hacked down a bit here on the body. But by God, this neck, you're getting a bit of wood for your money, you know what I mean? If you don't like it, you can always chop it up and use it for firewood. And looking at the back of this guitar, it's exactly like most other Ibanez's. You've got a couple of extra holes, I guess, but basswood, like I said, highly likely. 4 bolts, can't say more than that. It's got the cutout. It's got a good cutout, by the way. It needs it as well for this guitar. You never can get your hands around. If you can see that there, look at that. That thickness, honestly, you've really got to want to play one of these. But it can give you those tones that you're just never going to get out of any other guitars, unless they're 7-string too, or maybe baritone or something. I don't know. It has its place. Let's flip it back. I'm not sure of the radiuses of the neck and all that sort of thing on this guitar, but one thing I can tell you, it's got a big, wide, thin neck, and that's as wide as you get. Let's keep harping on about that, because that's the biggest issue with the guitar, I think. You really got to want to play it, which I did at the time. So there it was, and there it is. It rarely comes out, but if you want a 7-string, I guess most 7-strings are pretty similar. They've got big fat wide necks, big fat wide pickups. I think I paid, bearing in mind it's Japanese, I paid about 350 quid for this second hand, and it's just like new. The other guy never used to use it either. But there you go. Let's go back to the usual view of me now, rather than looking at this all day. Man, what a guitar this is. Honestly, if you've never played one, you want to go and give it a go. If you're into the heavy stuff, the gent stuff, all that chin stuff, this is a guitar. I'm not really into it that much, but I do that stuff from time to time when I take the need to want to do it, man. Stop it. I was watching a horror film last night. It's just in me. Don't worry. I'm back. But being serious for a minute, if you do need a 7-string, you can pick these up for £350, that's $500, and maybe even less. That was last time I looked, a couple of years ago. They're still cheap. And they're very hard to find a decent guitar for that money, especially a 7-string that plays, it's got low action, does all the stuff. You can use it as a 6-string, just leave that one off. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It's a great guitar for what it is. Search for that track, Tony Mckenzie space Tumblety, Tumblety, and you'll find it on iTunes somewhere, and listen to the tone of the rhythm guitar, because that is this guitar. Honestly, blows your head off. Just crank it up, it'll blow your head off. That's enough about this one. I may demonstrate it, I may not. And if I do, it won't be much. But I just wanted to show it to you. Some guys never seen one of these, never had a requirement for one, and all that stuff. See you again soon.